What if I told you that a single 1994 Lincoln 1-cent coin could be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars today? That among the billions minted, a select few hide secrets, errors, and stories that could change the way you see your pocket change forever? Let's travel back to 1994. Bill Clinton was in his first term as president. Grunge music still echoed through radios, and at the U.S. Mint, machines were stamping out Lincoln cents at an astonishing pace. Over 6.5 billion pennies were produced that year. So many that most people assume they're all worthless today. But buried in that sea of copper-plated zinc are a few anomalies, oddities that break the rules of mass production and make collectors around the world stop in their tracks. One such coin might be sitting unnoticed in your drawer right now. The 1994 Lincoln cent seems unremarkable at first glance. It carries the same familiar image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a design that had endured since 1909. Turn it over and you see the Lincoln Memorial, which had been featured on the reverse since 1959. But what if, on closer inspection, something's off? Let's begin with mint marks. In 1994, Lincoln pennies were produced at two main mints, Philadelphia, which produced coins without a mint mark, and Denver, which used a small D beneath the year. San Francisco, meanwhile, created proof coins for collectors, mirror-like pieces struck with extraordinary detail. The most common 1994 pennies came from Philadelphia and Denver. But sometimes, even in the most routine of mint runs, strange things happen. One of the most coveted error varieties in Lincoln cents is the double die obverse, where details on Lincoln's face, the inscriptions, or the date appear slightly doubled due to misalignment during the striking process. These are not just curiosities, they're worth serious money. Though 1994 doesn't have a widely recognized DDO like the 1955 or 1969 S pennies, examples of minor doubling do exist. In one notable case, a 1994 penny displayed strong doubling on the motto, "In God We Trust" and "Liberty," creating a ghostly shadow effect under magnification. Coins like this can fetch upwards of $250 or more, depending on condition. Another category of valuable errors lies in the planchet, the blank metal disc onto which the coin is stamped. In 1994, Lincoln pennies were composed of zinc coated in a thin layer of copper, weighing 2.5 grams. But mistakes happen. Some 1994 pennies have been found struck on bronze planchets, the kind used before 1982, when pennies were still made mostly of copper and weighed 3.11 grams. These transitional errors are rare and often the result of leftover planchets being accidentally fed into the minting machines. One of these 1994 bronze planchet pennies sold at auction for over $1,800. There's also a subset of collectors obsessed with off-center strikes, where the die doesn't align properly with the planchet. The result? Lincoln's face might be shifted dramatically to the left or right, leaving part of the design off the coin entirely. The more off-center the strike, and the more of the date that's visible, the higher the value. One 1994 penny struck about 50% off-center recently sold for over $300. Now imagine that happening with a visible mint mark or an additional error like doubling. The price could skyrocket. Then there are broad strikes, where the coin is struck without the collar that normally holds the metal in place, causing the coin to spread out and appear stretched. These errors are visually striking and can demand prices between $100 and $500, depending on the condition and how far the error goes. Some 1994 Lincoln cents also suffer from die breaks or cuds, which occur when a piece of the die cracks or falls away, leaving a raised blob or scar on the coin. These may appear near the rim or across Lincoln's profile. While small die breaks can be worth $10 to $20, larger, more dramatic ones, especially those that affect lettering, can sell for hundreds. Each cud is unique, making every such coin a one-of-a-kind collectible. One particularly stunning example of 1994 penny error involves a struck-through error, where a foreign object like a piece of string, grease, or wire finds its way between the die and planchet during minting. The result is a dramatic and sometimes unrecognizable distortion. These kinds of errors can sell for hundreds, especially when the item that caused the error leaves a clear, identifiable impression. But what's the market like for these coins? Auction records show that coin collectors are more eager than ever to get their hands on high-grade Lincoln cents with rare errors. On eBay and heritage auctions, even MS-67 grade regular strike 1994 pennies with no errors can go for $20 to $50 if they have stunning luster and no wear. Add an error to that mix and the price shoots up dramatically. One 1994 penny struck on a dime planchet, meaning the cent design was accidentally struck onto a blank meant for a dime, sold for nearly $2,000. Errors like that are extremely rare, but highlight how chaotic things can get on the minting floor. And don't forget the proof coins from San Francisco. These coins were minted for collectors with special care, polished dies, double strikes for sharpness, and a mirror-like finish. While most proof 1994 S pennies are common and worth only a few dollars, a proof with an error, such as a missing mint mark, a double die, or a strike-through, can be worth hundreds. A proof coin struck on the wrong planchet can be a jackpot find, sometimes bringing in over $3,000 depending on the condition. Behind each of these rare coins is a community of passionate collectors, auction houses, and history buffs who spend hours poring over their collections with magnifying glasses, scales, and reference books. They hunt for imperfections, tiny clues that separate the ordinary from the extraordinary. And you don't have to be a seasoned numismatist to join them. All it takes is curiosity and the willingness to look a little closer. That jar of pennies you've been ignoring, it could be hiding a treasure. That old change cup in your car, it might just hold a 1994 Lincoln cent worth hundreds. So next time you pick up a penny, ask yourself, is this just 1 cent? Or is it something far more valuable? The 1994 Lincoln penny reminds us that history, value, and wonder can exist in the most mundane places. Each coin tells a story of design, of error, of the moment it was made. Some were struck under ideal conditions, others were forged in chaos, and some, just a few, slipped through the cracks of perfection and emerged as rare pieces of American history. Take a moment today. Pull out your old coin jar. Look closely. Use a magnifier if you can. Check for doubling, off-center strikes, weird weights, or strange colors. Because the next great discovery, the next penny worth thousands, might just be waiting for someone like you to find it. And when you do, remember to share it with the world, because every coin has a story, and yours might be the next one told. What if I told you the spare change rattling in your drawer, the coins you barely glance at, might be hiding a fortune? Picture this, a 1979 D Roosevelt 1 dime coin, one you'd likely overlook, a simple 10-cent piece, being worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. It's not a fantasy, it's a numismatic reality shaped by history, error, and mystery. This isn't just a dime, it's a time capsule, a mistake of history, and a hidden treasure. And today, we're about to uncover why. The Roosevelt dime has been part of American currency since 1946, issued to honor the late President Franklin D. Roosevelt, just after his death. Designed by John R. Sinnock, the dime's profile is familiar. Roosevelt's side portrait on the front, and on the back, a torch flanked by olive and oak branches, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. Most people don't give it a second thought, but collectors know. Within the billions of dimes minted, a handful contain secrets that make them incredibly valuable. Let's rewind to 1979. The Denver Mint was busy, producing millions of Roosevelt dimes that year. Everything seemed routine. But then came the anomalies, the errors that today spark excitement in the world of coin collecting. A few rare 1979D Roosevelt dimes escaped into circulation with defects that defy the norms. Errors so specific, so unusual, that their value increased dramatically and continues to rise as demand from collectors grows. One of the first major reasons these coins are so desirable lies in minting errors, particularly the double die obverse. This happens when the die, the tool that stamps the design onto the blank coin, shifts slightly between impressions. As a result, you may see Roosevelt's profile with a faint echo. The words "Liberty," "In God We Trust," or the date 1979 might appear doubled, giving the coin a shadow-like quality. While less dramatic than the famous 1955 penny DDO, the 1979D dime with strong doubling is still a showstopper. Under magnification, these details pop, and collectors are willing to pay handsomely, often several $100s for a verified double die example. But minting errors don't stop there. Some of the most dramatic 1979D Roosevelt dimes were struck on the wrong planchet, the metal disc used for other coins. Imagine finding a dime that looks too shiny, too thin, or just off. That's a clue. In rare cases, a Roosevelt dime was mistakenly struck on a planchet intended for a penny, a foreign coin, or a blank of incorrect metal composition. These wrong planchet errors are rare and command top dollar. A 1979D dime struck on a copper penny blank, for instance, is not only lighter than normal, it also lacks the silver luster expected of a dime. Auction records show examples like these selling for between $600 and $2,000, depending on condition. But then there's the transitional error, coins minted using old or new materials during a change in production. While 1979 wasn't a transitional year for the dime like 1965 was, anomalies still occurred. Some 1979D Roosevelt dimes exhibit curious combinations of features or unexpected weights, suggesting transitional materials or dies being used out of sequence. These kinds of coins are mysterious and spark deep interest from advanced collectors. Now let's talk about off-center strikes. These are coins where the stamping didn't align with the blank properly. The result? A dime with part of Roosevelt's face or the date missing, pushed awkwardly to the side. The more off-center the strike, and the more of the date that's still visible, the more valuable the coin. A 1979D dime with a 60% off-center strike and a visible date recently sold for over $500. It's a testament to how errors turn ordinary into extraordinary. Broad strikes and die caps are two more rare minting mishaps that elevate value. Broad strikes occur when the coin is stamped without the restraining collar, making it spread wider than normal, a freakishly large dime that can still show all the design elements. Die caps happen when a coin gets stuck to the die and repeatedly strikes blank planchets, creating warped concave coins with eerie details. In the world of era coin collecting, these are like catching lightning in a bottle, and they command four-figure prices when authenticated. Beyond the technicalities of errors, what adds depth and drama to the 1979D Roosevelt dime is its place in American coinage history. By 1979, the U.S. Mint had fully transitioned away from silver in dimes. All circulating dimes were now clad, a sandwich of copper and nickel, giving the coin its distinct modern sheen. This era marked a period of rapid coin production, and in the hustle to churn out coins, errors slipped through. These dimes are more than defective metal. They're whispers from a time when analog processes were still prone to human oversight, when machines and men worked together imperfectly to meet the nation's growing demand for currency. Collectors today scour rolls of dimes, attend estate sales, and dig through forgotten jars in search of these tiny treasures. Some have found 1979D error dimes in the most unexpected places. A coin-counting machine at a grocery store, a childhood coin collection inherited from a grandparent, or even mixed in with foreign currency at a thrift shop. One collector, for example, found a copper-colored 1979D dime with a dramatic die crack running from Roosevelt's nose to the rim,
a flaw known as a die break or cud. That coin, once mistaken for a damaged penny, turned out to be a rare minting error and sold for nearly $800 at auction. It's easy to dismiss the Roosevelt dime. It's small, it's not flashy, it doesn't gleam like a silver dollar. But that's what makes it so magical. It slips past our attention, it hides in plain sight, and every once in a while it rewards someone observant enough to look a little closer. Even proof coins from that era carry weight. The San Francisco Mint issued stunning proof dimes in 1979 with mirror-like finishes. While most are valued at only a few dollars today, a proof coin with an error, like a missing mint mark, doubling, or an improper planchet, can explode in value. One 1979 S proof dime with a filled S mint mark, meaning the letter appeared blurry or blobby due to die damage, sold for over $400. Auction houses like Heritage and Stack's Bowers regularly list rare Roosevelt dimes that command thousands of dollars. Collectors are hungry for the perfect mix of condition, rarity, and error. The record prices for dimes may come from earlier silver years like the 1942-41 overdate or the 1968 no S proof, but modern clad dimes like the 1979 D are finally getting the attention they deserve. And here's the truth. You don't need to be an expert to start looking. You don't need a lab or a microscope. A simple magnifying glass, a digital scale, and some curiosity are enough. Check your change. Look through old piggy banks. Revisit those dusty coin folders from childhood. Because hidden in those overlooked paces might be your first great discovery. So before you toss that 1979 D dime into the vending machine or leave it on the counter, take a moment. Turn it over in your hand. Examine its surfaces. Look at the lettering. Feel its weight. Because that dime may not just be another coin. It may be a key to history, a one-of-a-kind mistake, or a hidden gem worth far more than 10 cents. Remember, treasures aren't always gold or silver. Sometimes they're hiding in plain sight, waiting to be seen. This isn't just about coins. It's about paying attention to the little things, the forgotten things, and realizing they have stories worth telling. So the next time you hear that soft clink of change in your pocket, listen a little closer. That sound could be history calling your name.